Eugenie Sellers, Mrs. Arthur Strong, whose scholarly reputation is wholly tied to her study of Roman antiquities. She participated in Morelli's revolution in the analysis of ancient objects by means of affinities in tiny details, a revolution better known today from Berenson's and from Beasley's work on Greek vase painting. In the London of the 1880s, amid Victorian theatricals and lectures for the general public, we find Harrison and Sellers working together, and even living together. In later years, neither, it appears, wanted to remember their shared beginnings. Proceeding from her discoveries about Mrs. Strong, Dr. Beard goes on to attack the foundations of the supposed school of Cambridge ritualists, to which the recent history of classical scholarship has conspicuously attached her. In a recent article in the journal Arian, Kargalinsky has labelled the anecdotal character of much of this so-called history of scholarship Wissenschaftsgeschichte light. What Dr. Beard has provided is an altogether refreshing and heady brew. The concoctions of J.G. Frazer and F.M. Cornford, which were fed into the mainstream of modern literature through T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, are re-examined here. We can watch the construction of reputations and the imperfect recollections of participants, notably the aged Gilbert Murray. This is a case study in the tendaciousness of archival sources and the efforts of an older generation to secure the future through the careful selection of the documents it leaves behind. Greece itself is part of this story. No work on antiquity can, or should, avoid the country where the classical past was played out. Jane Harrison and her friend take their place in a long and distinguished line of intrepid English women abroad. Unlike Lady Mary Wortley Montagu in Turkey in the previous century, she had ample companionship from compatriots and European scholars travelling abroad, with classical antiquity on their mind. But a Mediterranean country was still a strange and liberating force for a Victorian gentlewoman. Dr. Beard's book works on many levels at the same time. It is a record of a doomed friendship between two gifted women with a passion for ancient art. It is a memorable account of the dawn of archaeology in Britain and the post-Schliemann era in Greece. It is a reminder of Victorian manners and tastes. And, when all is said and done, it uncovers the process by which the art of classical Greece became a key to unlocking those myths and rituals that lay at the core of the civilization of Pericles and Plato. Preface. Jane Ellen Harrison changed the way we think about the ancient Greeks. She infuriated the academic establishment at the turn of the 19th and 20th centuries, with her uncompromising refusal to play the submissive part. She fell repeatedly and hopelessly in love, usually with entirely unsuitable men, who were also her academic colleagues. She gave some of the most remarkably theatrical lectures that the University of Cambridge has ever seen. In the very male intellectual world of a century ago, she put women academics and women's colleges dangerously on the map. These are some of the myths of Jane Harrison that I shall be exploring in this book, wondering how and why we cast her as we do. It is an exploration that extends very widely, from the dusty world of museum basements to the glamour of late Victorian amateur dramatics, from the culture of Sapphism in early 20th century Paris and Cambridge and London, to the theory and practice of contemporary biography. The Invention of Jane Harrison is, in one sense, an experiment in rejecting that tone of assured certainty in which most biographies strive to be written, and in exposing the processes through which we construct a narrative out of a life. It is a biography that aims to show its working, but it is also, and principally, a book about classics, written by a classicist. It is an attempt to understand how classics invests in its history, and how that